Hello and welcome to Abaddon Magazine. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome to our pages the drummer of the leading force of Brazilian death metal, Max from Krisiun.
No, actually, this is Moyses, man. This is the guitar player.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, we had to last minute switch because he's busy with something else. But I'm here to answer all your questions.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
Okay. Cool.
Anyways, I've written in my review of Mortem Solis that you are somewhat of a god on Brazilian death metal scene, and it's not like the scene itself is lacking any talent. So do you feel the grandeur of Krisiun on your shoulders? Is it some sort of a weight on your back, or is it pushing you forward, knowing you have an army of fans lying in wait?
Okay. Thanks for the compliments, man. To tell you the truth, man, we always we don't see that we are as a big band or whatever, like we always do what we love to do, and it's death metal. We've been around for 30 years, and we know we represent in Brazil a lot, especially because in Brazil, death metal is not as big as used to be in the 80s, when there was a lot of great death metal bands. Nowadays, most of bands, they want to play just modern kind of music or new metal. There's a huge scene for hardcore and melodic heavy metal too. So I know that we must fight really hard to keep this death metal scene alive over here, like, so throughout the years, all the trends that we went through, but we end up surviving, and we are alive, and we are doing the best. This is probably the best time we ever had in our career as far as inspiration and devotion for death metal. So I just see that we are a normal band fighting hard to survive. I never had time to see if you are big or what do you represent. But I see that survival is our mode always, like to keep doing what we love to do without jump on trendies or being a commercial band trying to sell more. So I think that what makes us survive is our passion for death metal.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, you could have jumped on any bandwagon during the 30 years.
Yeah, especially nowadays, that the bands, they want to be big, don't matter what, so they do a lot of gimmicks or whatever to sell more, to have a more visual impact or whatever, but we keep it natural, we keep it true, we keep it real.
Okay. So since your new record is about to hit the world in like less than a month, you already have a massive number of releases behind you. So is it still the same nervous feeling before the release date to get the copies in your hands as it was when you first started as a band?
Yeah, it is, man. Every record is something new for us. It's a new road, a new door that we are gonna open. Even that we still doing what we always did, but we always try to develop a little bit more. So we always like not nervous, but a little thoughtful about what people will think about our new music or whatever. Like I know that we always try to do something new, but still being as brutal as we can. So for this new record, it's really different. It's not really different, but it's different from what we did on the last couple of records, where there was like really long songs. This new one, it like have more like a short kind of songs, more straightforward, not so much changes in riffs. It's really based on the straightforward death metal back in time, like maybe something that we did in Apocalyptic Revelation, or something like that. I guess we went back for our really brutal roots, and we cut a lot of unnecessary things that we sometimes end up putting in our music, because it's like it's how the inspiration happens, and we don't think so much when you're doing music. You just get together and start like jamming together, and things came out naturally. So for this one, when you start writing new songs, we say, man, let's do this really brutal, really straightforward, with less technical stuff, less guitar leads and stuff. Just be like maybe Raining Blood or Altar of Madness,
Yeah.
some type of album. Like, you know, I know there's some technical parts there because it's natural on us, but we try just to avoid and be more natural riffing and more like a old school kind of vibe on this record.
Yeah, yeah, and it shows on the record itself.
Yeah,
and it's clearly much more old school
yeah,
in its feeling.
yeah,
It's basically back to the original inspirations you had when you were starting
yes,
out. Yeah.
yes. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but well, getting back to the past, do you still consider yourself sort of a fanboy as when you were a kid starting out in music? I mean, how often can people see you in the local record store or at the
Oh
show
yeah.
of some new band?
Yeah, man, I'm still a metal guy. You know, I go for concerts as much as I can, as much as it's possible. You know, like attending, like especially underground shows. I try to attend the most I can. Record stores, I don't go that much because I order everything online nowadays. I receive at home vinyls and CDs or downloads. You know, like, but
Yeah, yeah.
everything I buy, I'm buying online. Unfortunately, I live in kind of far away from record stores, so I need to go through traffic and stores and stuff, parking lots. I know it's not a healthy way to be, but I'm doing a lot of stuff online. So, but people see me everywhere, man, everywhere. Like, no, I'm not consider myself a rock star or whatever. You know, like I go, I meet people in the metal bars. I go a lot in metal bars drinking, you know. And I see all kind of people attending shows too, you know, like I play in a band when I'm on stage, you know. When I'm off the stage, I'm just a normal metal guy that
Yeah, that's
have
cool to
its,
hear.
yeah, I have the bands I like, my friends, you know, like normal metal metalhead life, you know.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, back to the new record. The new one, it's basically you're the same solid foundation you had for a long while now,
Yeah.
and basically I do believe you're just working on keeping your music fresh without losing touch with what Krisiun actually needs to represent. Am I right?
Yes, man, that's right. Like I think in the new record we have some new elements there that we don't need that much, but it's still the same, like you said, the same foundation of the music we always try to be. Krisiun always is gonna be brutal, fast, with a really dark black message about reality, about cosmic, about wars, religion. You know, all the death metal topics always gonna be there because we start this as a death metal band and we're gonna end up this as a death metal band. You know, we will never try to, like we talk before, like training the band wagon just because a lot of bands, you know, they are famous nowadays because they get a lot of visual impact, a lot of commercial music, a lot of keyboards, a lot of Pro Tools stuff, whatever, you know, like, so we are a natural band. We try to keep it old school, and
Yeah, that's good.
that's what we are, man. Krisiun, our main influences came like from Slayer, Black Sabbath, Motorhead, you know, those bands, AC/DC, you know, not properly like, music wise, but how your career. For me, I want to be remember a band that never betrayed and I never tried to sell
Yeah,
music like selling uh, ice cream or something, you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
try to because people nowadays, there's so many stupid people that they buy whatever people promote for them, you know. They put some advertising in fucking computers and social medias. People go there and buy and purchase blindly, you know, without even know what's going on there. They just buy, consuming all
Yeah.
the time. So for me, no, I want people buy us because they like our music, they like our attitude, and we're trying to keep it. So we always say we try to keep death metal real, you know, We want to keep it real for us.
Yeah, that's great attitude. And
Yeah.
speaking of of that fresh approach, here's why I'm glad I got to talk to you in particular, because I
Yeah.
do believe the key in keeping Krisiun always as fresh and basically new all the time within death metal is the riffing, the
Cool.
creativity behind coming up with different guitar parts that need to be good enough, catchy enough, driving enough,
Yeah,
brutal enough.
that's right. Yeah.
Can you just guide me through the process of forming one Krisiun
Yeah.
song?
Cool. Thanks, man. Uh, what I do, man, is I always have this inspirational like that comes from metal because I'm listening metal all the time, So I get my metal Bibles like Raining Blood, Author of Madness, and some Master of Reality from Black Sabbath, something. So I'm not copying them, but that inspired me to try something new, even though I'm doing the same thing I always did, like. So this needs, I mean, a lot of inspiration and clean my mind and don't follow so much what's going on in nowadays in the world. And I always try to innovate a little bit the stuff I do, like I try to learn something new and try to incorporate in our music, like I always like a challenge too. I always like to play what is hard for me to play, So if I do something that it's really basic, I like it because I like straightforward. I like sometimes be simple is more effective too, So I need to have this balance between being technical and be metal and be simple too, So sometimes it can end up being a bit more technical or a bit more brutal riffing, a bit more simple, because metal is like that. You don't need to be really complicated,
Yeah, yeah.
and I like when I can deliver my message, I like
Yeah,
when
yeah.
people get it, don't matter if you're a musician or a normal listener, so I want to give my vibe, my spirit through this, like don't think so much, don't go on computer, spend so many hours trying to develop a really technical riff and doing just solo progressions and stuff like that. Sometimes it's good for musician, but if you're not, and I don't care about that anymore. I'm not impressed by technical bands, because it's nowadays, especially in the Pro Tools era, anybody can do whatever they want, So I like to be natural. I don't use metronome to play, I play like just beating with my feet on the ground and some stuff like that. So it's really it's mind, spiritual, and physical. Like I gotta
Yeah.
have these three elements. And when it came out, and I feel it's okay, I show the guys to the other guys, and if they dig it, it's gonna be there. Without I don't like I said before, like think so much about that. If went through. I don't go back there and start to work and worrying about what people will think about that. Is that brutal enough? Is that technical enough or whatever? So I don't have this to put myself into like a comfort zone where I want to please everyone. I want to please the metalhead, especially. That's my mission.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another good attitude.
Yeah.
Is it in any way hard to find that balance you mentioned between the technical parts? Do you have like a sort of a feeling, you've gone too far, you are losing the feel of the song in particular?
Yes, man. I think so. Because sometimes it's easier to do like a technical part instead of do a riff that's going to stand out, that's going to bring something new to everyone, like so. I have this balance, like I say, like because death metal, its own nature of death metal always being a little bit technical. Even Slayer was a little bit technical, but I mean,
Yeah.
not this technical cheesy stuff people are doing nowadays. No, it's a different kind of technique. It's sometimes demands more like a strength on your arm, like to play some brutal riff instead of being technical. Technical, sometimes you have to be really light and play really compressed and stuff, and with brutal stuff, sometimes it demands like more deepness, more like a hit hard guitar or playing non-stop fasting triplets or doing like a lot of only downstroke through the whole songs just to sound like heavy, you know, like. So sometimes it's more than technical. It's more about the strength you have in your arms, I think, to play it, you know.
Yeah, and
So
then it's with the delivery, like in live shows, you know,
yes, yeah, heaviness, you know, like, because sometimes people talk shit about like guitar players like Kerry King or some others. They say, oh, they are not technical, but I believe you are not able to play a song like Warren Sable because you are too technical and you cannot play those kind of riffing they did because it's too brutal, demands a lot of strength, and you train only technique. So you always do your up and down strokes really easy, doing a lot of scales and chords, but you cannot play like something like it's brutal sometimes. So people get a wrong message sometimes what is easy to play or hard to play, you know. Sometimes play like something brutal is much harder than play something technical.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me about the new record. I actually found a whole new level of connection between lyrics and music.
Oh yeah.
Especially, I'm going to point out Necronomical, which has that slow pulsating start and really brings the lyrics up front, you know, with the chorus and everything. So was there any special care this time about this connection?
I think so, man. We care more about the lyrics, the vocals. Like we talk more than before. In the pre-production, we talk a lot about this, like because sometimes you just miss the point. You do the song and the lyrics comes afterwards, and but we always care a lot, you know. But on this record, we care more, I guess. To the message fits well with the structure of the music, you know. And I think we did it right, especially in this song. You say like a Necronomical is kind of a black magic kind of song. It's the more spiritual song on this record. So it has to start like a little gloomy, a little darker, you know, and start get a crescendo type of feeling. And we did it a lot. And Alex worked really hard on these lyrics this time too. And we worked together to fit the music and the lyrics on the same level, you know, on the same particular way, you know.
Yeah, I'm really impressed on how you actually managed to do that, you know. It's not all that easy, you know.
No, it's kind of hard, man, especially to do the rhymes and do brutal vocals and be understandable, you know, like because sometimes you know, there's some bands that sing that you don't get a word, you know, like we want to our message get across and people listening and get a, you know, the idea what's going on and feel inspired by that, you know. So we care a lot that Alex have these vocals and it's really clear, it's brutal, low growling, but have understandable English where people can get the message, and this gives you the strength when you listen.
That's great. Also about the lyrics, of course, you are keeping to the same topics or similar topics you always have. And that's basically the standards. So tell me, does it still revolve around the classic sources of inspiration, or is there any new ones for each new record? I mean, like horror topics, you know. Is it the old stuff or some new books or movies or whatever?
Sure, man, I think like when like we started a band, we had a lot of influence from this the black satanic thrash metal, like Venom, Slayer. You know, we are, you know, like it was a natural, and we have a limitation on our knowledge on that time. You know, we didn't read much books. We just read the booklets from the albums we like. You know, like from black metal to Slayer, Show No Mercy and stuff, you know. So it was a natural way to worship Satan, Lucifer and tal, but always try to be, you know, like have sense on what you say, not like be an empty mind guys worshiping Satan, you know. But we had a lot of...
That's the next question I wanted to ask you, because your lyrics were never just you know, hail Satan, kill the Christ, and whatever, you know. It always had some structure, some
that's right,
message.
That's right, man. And we try it, like, but as you say, like we developed, sure, we after so many years, we wrote a lot of books, history books, religion books. We learn a lot from our spiritual experiences too. Like nowadays, I would say that we are much more like in a cosmic and real world, spiritual world, and see how mankind is leading this world, where religion is taking us, what religion did in the past, what it represents on the nowadays life in the planet we are living. So our lyrics have a much large conception about reality and spiritual way and our own experience too. So we are dealing much more with this, a little bit more serious than you used to be back in time. But there was a time, and maybe in a record like assassination and the great execution. Sometimes we deal a lot with more like philosophies and how mankind facing life, how it turned to be, where the politics and religion together are taking us and stuff, and together with that, all the creation of the cosmic cosmology and stars and magic rituals and stuff. We try to get a little bit from everything, but we really are deep into the wisdom in reading a lot of books too. Don't talk bullshit around, and always have our personal view about that, because lyrics sometimes, especially on metal, is a personal interpretation you're gonna have. Like I can write a lyric and two different people you understand in different ways. Like, so it's always your own. You gotta have your own interpretation.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And aside of horror topics, war, anti-religious sentiment, how about the social issues? For instance, I guess it comes down to that interpretation you just mentioned. But I found a couple of songs throughout your discography that can be interpreted as a comment on the social issues, especially in Brazil, because it's always highlighted as for its diversities in material status of the citizens.
Yes, that's right.
Is that like does that boil into that bestial music you create in Krisiun, at least a little bit?
Sure, man. Even in a subconscious, unconscious way, you have this vibe what surrounds you. You see in Brazil is a new country compared to European countries, which have thousands of years of culture and stuff, and here is like almost 500 years, and it's a lot of diversity of cultures, like you said. Like we get a black culture, we get a European culture, we get Asian culture, we get a lot of stuff going on here. People are still migrating here, still people coming from everywhere, because it's a huge land, and there's space for everyone here. And so people bring their own culture, their own religion here, and sometimes they clash. Like when you bring like some European fundamentalism with Christianity, and they meet the black people here that have this voodoo type of religion, and how they conflict, how the government handle all this stuff with a lot of prejudices, and always using religion as a weapon to manipulate people here. So we see a lot of this. So sometimes, a lot of times, our lyrics deal with this rebellion against politicians and religions full of prejudices, trying to banish from here, like more like ancestral religions, or not religion, or cults of the voodoo cults, or spiritual cults, or atheism, or whatever differences they have from their the religion they believe to be good. They believe Christianity or something is the fundamentalism of that, is where they preach a God must be worshipped and he must follow their rules just to control people. It's a basic matter that nowadays we all can see this. Maybe back in time people was a little bit blind. They are fearing so much because they are punished when they don't follow their rules.
Yeah.
And nowadays in Brazil, we have a really shitty president that uses a lot of the religion to manipulate the ignorant people, and they blindly follow them. So we also talk about that in our lyrics.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Can you clarify the cover artwork for Mortem Solis for me?
yeah,
Is there a connection between the Latin title of the album and the
sure.
seemingly ancient
Yeah,
Roman scenery of the
yes, yeah,
artwork?
yeah. Roman is the basis of the whole civilization, the whole thing we live nowadays. It was Sumerians, Egyptians before, but the Romans set a new style of civilization where we live, of power, oppression, religion. We are all together, you know. So, and this heraldic uh, empires, which have the sun as a power, as a symbol of power, as religion has. So we try to capture a whole history for the whole generation civilizations where our empires fall, our life perishes here. So the sun that represents its life, it comes to an end. It's dead nowadays, because nowadays humankind is leading us to the end. Maybe the world is already dead. You see, like we have a, a lot of problems going on nowadays. A lot of problems. You know, we still think we are not having these problems, but the next generations, they're gonna feel it much more, this
Yeah,
impact than us. You know, like, so we're just saying that the world is dying. The death of the sun means the death of life in Earth. Where this all these civilizations took us, they took us for a place where there will be no more life. The earth is being destroyed by religion, politics, people that don't believe in the spiritual way or whatever, in the forces that they don't believe, or they are afraid, you know. So they always follow, you know, the flock like a
yeah,
sheep, you know. And you just want to show people, no matter how big you are, your empire is gonna fall, your kingdom is gonna fall, no matter what. You by your own hands. You know, our
yeah,
empires, they fall because they have problems between them. You know, like man is enemy of the enemy of their own friends or their own kind. They're gonna destroy themselves too. You know, so we try to not generalize, but globe like all the situation that we are living nowadays and compare it for the start of the modern civilization, you know, in a brutal way, in a really sanguinary, brutal war, religion, politics stuff, you know, like it's really death metal together with the magic, alienations, aliens, I mean,
yeah.
and all this stuff cosmical together, you know, and the sun represents the big cosmic force we have, but also represents the beliefs men have here for their empires.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that actually, you know, like fits in with the
yeah,
with the topic of the record itself.
yeah, because it's really like have all the elements. We don't want to just focus on war, focus on religion, or focus on politics. We englobe everything together because
Yeah,
it's all together. We live it all together. Maybe in our house it's different. We have our own fantasies, our own comfort zone where we feel good and safe. But if you go around the world, you start traveling around, you see a lot of problems, and soon we are gonna see problems knocking our door. So we always have to keep in mind that it's better believe in ourselves and try to be a real person instead be like following blindly anything like it can be religion, it can be consumism about food, about anything people put on advertise on TV. Yeah, buy this hamburger, it's very good, so you buy, you die of cancer, and then you make people rich, and they fucking oppress the poor people around the world just to be rich, you know. And they use all kind of brainwash things to make you believe they are right, you know.
yeah, yeah. I get
Yeah.
that. Okay, I'm going to go to a bit of a less serious topic.
Okay.
You've played in Serbia a couple of times, and it would be like expected of me to ask about how good were those shows, and you will tell me it was all great and the crowd was amazing, etc., etc.
Mhm.
But I'm not going to do the obvious. So tell me the worst thing you remember about those visits.
Man, Serbia always been great as far as crowds, and good food. But I think the first time we went there, we saw like some leftover from the war you guys have there,
Yeah,
and I remember to see this hospital destroyed,
yeah,
and
we have a couple of those.
yeah, and some people took us there to see this when they bombed out this building. I think it was a military hospital. I don't know, or something.
Yeah, it's a general staff building in Belgrade.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I shoot some pictures and stuff, and saw that was a really scare moment, like to see something destroyed, by the war scene.
yeah,
So yes, was I felt sorry for people there, and but that was my the only not bad experience, was a really, I'm
weird
not saying
experience.
good. Yeah, I'm not saying a good experience because I feel sorry for the people that died there.
Yeah,
But to see and witness this there in a fresh moment was I need to learn. I need to learn to feel the vibe, feel the feeling that what war can bring to you, and
yeah. I always say that it's easy like singing about war and
yeah,
destruction. When you're
yeah,
living
yeah,
like in Sweden,
yeah.
where you haven't had a
Yes,
war
that's
in like
right. That's right.
forever.
Yes, you're totally right, man. You're totally right. Like, all these bands singing about war, but they're not able even to fight a man by their hands, So
Yeah,
it's like that, and people that leave the war, they don't want a war, So it's really complicated to be tough on the internet, on your records, but on the real world, it's something that's really bad. It's something that destroy families, destroy nations, destroy peace, destroy, and normal civilians, they don't deserve it. The old government mans, they do war, but who dies are the young people, are the street
yeah,
people. They are in miserable. They are hungry. They are wounded. They are destroyed. Their lives shattered to nothing. And the rich people is there talking and drinking wine and doing shit. So that was our experience I had. I saw some other like ruins from war, but that one was the most fresh one I saw in my life. That was not long ago, but about the time we went there,
yeah,
and that happened because I remember I saw that on TV, on news. Then suddenly I was there watching that too,
yeah,
and then I saw the impact of war, how big it can be. Like
yeah, yeah,
I felt sorry about people.
yeah. Okay, and for the very end, the question that actually comes from Ivona, my female colleague from Abaddon magazine.
Okay.
Do you think we can expect Serbia to beat Brazil in Qatar on November 24th?
If I think you guys can, I don't get so much there. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, do you think we can Serbia can beat Brazil in football
Okay.
world championship in Qatar?
Sure, I believe, man. I believe you guys can beat Brazil for sure, man. Serbia have strong players, and Brazilian players nowadays, man, they are all they only care about money and stuff. They don't have honor anymore. I don't know about this World Cup, but I to tell you the truth, I stopped caring about soccer, Brazilian soccer, because I even don't like this team here and shit. But I hope you guys win, man. I hope you guys win. I hope, because you deserve it. Your nation is a warrior nation. It's a nation of people that went through a lot of difficulties too, and managed to be here around and survive and developing and getting better and better. And athletes from Serbia always are so strong, so good. So I will be cheering for you guys, man. Believe me.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, sure.
And,
I'm not bullshitting. I'm real.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for the pleasure of of this conversation, and
All
I
right.
hope to see you back in Serbia as soon as possible.
Thank you so much, Milos. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to go back there in Serbia and meet all you guys there, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.
Talk later, man. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.